Welcome to the Digital Maddy Show. This is a platform where I share my knowledge on video creation, digital marketing, chatbot marketing, and how to grow your business through video making. I also invite many influencers and digital marketers on this show and ask amazing questions to extract their secrets of business. Let's get started with your host. Hi, my name is Mithyl and I'm a YouTube and video creation coach, and I help aspiring video influencers to create and monetize their content through video making. Today we have an amazing guest on our show. She's already into the studio. She's going to speak about mindset. She's going to speak about her entire journey. So let's welcome her. So let's welcome on our show Becca Pike. Let me introduce her. She is the owner and founder of Massage Strong, a deep tissue and injury therapy sport massage studio. She is the owner and founder of Hell Yes Coaching, an online platform specializing in health, business, and relationship coaching. She's a mom of 4 awesome young kids and a competitive CrossFit athlete. So welcome Becca on our show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Most welcome. So, Becca, let me ask you one of my favorite questions. Can you share one of your quote or a line that motivates you on a daily basis?
A quote that motivates me on a daily basis. Yes, absolutely. So this is going to seem very simple and basic, but I actually have it written on my whiteboard in front of my office all the time. And it says, "This is easy." It is a thought that I choose to think about any task that I am going forward with. And even when I don't feel like it's easy, or I feel a little nervous, or I feel like I want to procrastinate or shy away from it, when I remind myself that it might be easy, I feel a sense of calm come over me and I'm able to hit that task much better.
So basically, you're just trying to play with your mind and you're creating a mindset that yes, everything is easy, you can do it.
Yes, I love mindset hacking.
Cool, awesome. So, Becca, can you share some of your backstory?
Yes, absolutely. So I went to college for kinesiology, so sports medicine. I eventually went on to massage therapy school where I learned how to do deep tissue and sports massage. I started a massage studio from the ground. So a little bit before that, I grew up very poor. And even up into my late 20s, I was very poor. I was a waitress at a restaurant. And I lived paycheck to paycheck, constantly trying to hustle to make enough money to pay rent and buy food. And I have very specific memories of not having enough food and being concerned that I'm going to be evicted from my apartment and being just very overwhelmed with finances all the time. And my parents were this way as well. And it wasn't until after I graduated from massage school that I started reading. I've always read, but I've always read fiction and love stories. And I started reading self-improvement, and I started reading about business and money and realizing what I was actually capable of in this world. And I started my massage business, like you said, and it was just me massaging in the back of this old gym. I was a one-person show. And it's only been 5 years, and now we have 22 employees. We had our first 7-figure year last year. It has grown exponentially. I also started coaching people in business, and I have started an entire coaching company with 6 other coaches under me with, like you said, relationship, health, and mindset. And it has been a long journey. I know I skimmed through it a little bit, but to say that I'm a story of like rags to riches might be accurate, because I definitely had to like carve my own path and figure out everything for myself.
It's an inspiring story, Becca. And tell me honestly one thing. Are you basically a supergirl disguised as Becca Pike?
I am not a super girl. My goal every day is to move the needle a little bit. I tell myself that. I say, okay, sometimes I wake up and I think I'm going to have these amazing days and I'm going to hit all these goals. And I have to remind myself at the end of the day, if I'm feeling like I didn't do enough, I ask myself, did I move the needle in the direction that I want to go in my life? And I think through the compounding effect and through creating this needle movement every single day, people would be very pleasantly surprised how far their needle actually moves in a given year.
Wow, that's a different paradigm altogether. And looking at that way, I think it's like taking baby steps and ultimately reaching to Mount Everest.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think people look at other people who have reached the tip of Mount Everest and they think that they just sprinted up the mountain. But what they don't see is all the times those people slid backwards and had to crawl and like wanted to quit. And I'm the first one to voice and say, absolutely, people all the time. Like I literally have to talk myself off a ledge all the time. And I think that there is no place in success where you stop challenging yourself. I think, in fact, it just becomes more challenging and in different ways. So yeah, that's a great analogy with Mount Everest.
Thank you so much, Becca, for introducing and sharing your amazing story with us. So let me start, our show with asking a few of the questions. So since you are not a typical success story and you have become a strong voice in it, for lack of better words, we can say rags to riches world. Can you tell us a bit about your rough around the edge upbringing and early adulthood and what eventually shifted? And that's how you became from rags to riches.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was raised by very loving parents, but it is true that there was addiction involved in my house, and my parents had a very rough time. They had a rough marriage. And although they loved me and my brother very much, I would say that they helped me become a little bit rough around the edges. And then when I went into college, I did a lot of my coping with drugs and alcohol and partying. I was a very big partier. And now the more that I learn about the human brain, the more that when I look back, I realize, and it's easy for me to see it now, but not then, right? I realized that I think that I was very intelligent. I think that I was very driven, and I didn't know how to direct that power. I wasn't being challenged enough intellectually. And so I was rebelling in many ways. And like I said, I began reading. I actually met my husband when I was about 24, and he was just dipping his toes into self-development, and he introduced me to a couple self-development books. I started listening to Tony Robbins and Tim Ferriss and Dr. Rhonda Patrick and Brooke Castillo, and the things that they were saying was brand new to me. And I do have a little bit of an addiction side to me. So I assume that's why I started reading them obsessively. And when I realized that I could change my external circumstances through changing my internal dialogue, my whole life changed. And now I am making it my life goal to teach that to other people through the coaching.
Awesome. So you just said some time back that there was, a tremendous amount of shift with respect to even finance and income. So can you give us an idea of how much your income shifted in a short amount of time?
Yes, absolutely. I love telling this story because it is so black and white. And people, you can, like, I could say, hey, I shifted my life a lot, but that is very bland. But when you bring the numbers in and you make it very black and white and number based, it's obvious. So when I first started my self-development thing, I was a waitress, and I was bringing in somewhere between $900 and $1,100 a month. Okay. And it was just scraping by, paying my rent, about $900 a month. Fast forward a couple years, I started doubling and tripling my monthly income. So probably like 2016, I would say that my monthly income was about $2,500. So now it's 4 years later, and my monthly income on a good month is somewhere around $35,000 to $40,000 every month. So jumping up 30-fold from 2016. And I have goals for even higher than that. So 2020, I'm excited about 2021 as well. So we're going to see if we can keep doubling it.
First of all, congratulations for doing that amount jump, and wish you all the best for your 2020-21 goal. I wish that you hit that goal and come back onto our podcast and share your story once again.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
So since you are into coaching also, so you work with a lot of entrepreneurs. So from your perspective, what is the number one thing keeping people small or keeping them from reaching their successes?
Yeah, so I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, and everyone has the same story that is disguised in many different costumes. So when you get down to the nitty gritty, I believe that 99.9% of entrepreneurs are facing this fear of failure or fear of rejection. And that is understandable. It can be very hard to put yourself out there. It can be very hard to say, hey, this is my idea and I want it to work. This is my book and I want you to read it. This is my podcast and I want you to listen. That can feel very vulnerable. But some of the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones with the thicker skins, the ones that can be rejected and still create. And it doesn't mean that successful people don't feel it. We all feel the pain of rejection and failure, but for every 30 no's that I hear, I know that I'm going to hear 1 to 3 yeses. And when I remind myself of that and I stay on the course, I succeed.
Cool. That's cool. Awesome. So, Becca, if you could give any advice to someone starting a business, what would that be?
So my best piece of advice would be to be very careful with the type of material you consume. So if you are surrounding yourselves by authors and podcasts and successful people that are showing you how to grow and how to have the life that you want, fantastic. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, we turn to our parents and our sisters and our brothers and our friends, and they might not have very great business advice. They might be very well intended, but their whole role is to make you feel comfortable and make you feel happy. So when times get tough, they might feel that it is their turn to say, hey, why don't you just quit? Why don't you just move on to another direction? Why don't you just stop? Or maybe they're not that kind. Maybe they say it a lot rougher than that. But I would say be very careful about who you listen to. It's easy to lean into our best friends when they're telling us like, hey, it's not going to work. You should save your efforts. So instead, asking your friends that are actually on podcasts that you're not really talking to in real life. I get most of my mentoring from my business coach, but also from the authors and podcasts I listen to in their books.
Wow. So, Becca, can you share something more about Hell Yes Coaching? And if people who are listening to this particular podcast or a video, if they want to know more about it, how do they get to you and connect to this platform?
Absolutely. You can find us at www.hellyescoachingonline.com. And we are a group of coaches who specialize in relationship coaching, business building, and health. So if you are feeling stuck in your business, if you want to start or launch a business and you don't really know how, you want a direction, you want an accountability partner, someone that's a few steps ahead of you, we are your folks. We will do one-on-one coaching with you where we sit down and really help you map out and blueprint where you're going and motivate you the whole way.
Wow. So, Becca, just to get some special thing for our viewers, who's listening to my podcast and my videos for a very long time, can you do something better for them if they choose to be on your service?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. If they want to come to Hell Yes Coaching, we can give them 10% off.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's amazing. So since we have come to the end of this episode, Becca, would you like to say something to our viewers?
Yes, I just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me be on this podcast. I love talking and I love being the voice of saying, hey guys, like you can do it. Whatever you're wanting, you can do it, guys. Just keep going and don't listen to all the people that tell you can't, because the only people that are going to tell you that you can do it are the ones that are doing it. So be very strategic about who you listen to.
That's an amazing message. Thank you so much, Becca, for being on our show and accepting. And it was our honor to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
So you have just listened to the Digital Maddy Show with your host, Mithyl Dave, and we have an awesome guest, Becca, who just gave us a lot of insight with respect to business, health, and mindset. So do check out the link, which is there over here in the description section. and use the name of this particular what you can say podcast, so you can get a discount and get the services done for you. So thank you so much, Becca, once again for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.